What was the weirdest date you've ever been on? Went to the Church of Scientology, roped in with promises of free food. We were on a date for Christmas. So odd. Edit, they had us take the personality test and tried to break us up. They said we were completely incompatible, to the point of being toxic. We've been together 10 years lol. Whoa, I wonder if that's some kind of weird long con. They know a majority of relationships are going to end in breakups, so they tell every couple that they're incompatible. Then, a few months down the line, the relationship starts to unravel and you think, wow, those Scientology people totally saw this coming. Maybe there is something to those meter things. Dunno, can't think of why else they'd try to tell you to break up. Glad you made it out safely, and congrats on 10 years. They were trying to get us to go to a separate area without each other to get counseling by the people. They were trying to convince us that we would only make it as a couple if we joined Scientology. At that point I didn't really feel safe, mostly because I didn't want to be separated from my then boyfriend now husband, so we left immediately.
Another one, I went on a date with this girl from Tinder. She super liked me and messaged first, so I was really happy to have someone interested. I asked if she'd like to go for a walk sometime and she said she'd love to. So we get to walking and like 5 minutes in, she asks if I have roommates. I said yes, I live with 5 people and tell her about a few of them. They're Max, Matt, Mark, wait, Mark Smith. I know him. What's he been up to? So we start chatting about my roommate and she knows a lot about him. His family, the sports he plays, his girlfriend. Every time I try to move the conversation somewhere else, she brings it back to Mark. She's not even pretending to be into me anymore, she's just fangirling out over my roommate. I just love him, his hair is always so shiny and he smells so nice. She spends the full 2 hours talking about him and asking all sorts of questions. I didn't really know what to do, so I just boredly keep answering. When we get back to our cars, she shifts gears again. Hey, so I had a really great time. Want to go back to your place to have some fun? She's really creeping me out at this point, so I tell her I have homework to do and maybe later. I get back and tell Mark about the date and he knows exactly who she is. He picks up his phone and immediately calls the police. They show up at the house, find the girl outside in the backyard and arrest her for violating a restraining order or something. It turned out she was super unstable and had stalked my roommate since they went on one date almost a year prior. She recognized from photos she had of him and used me to find out where he lived. I matched with a Chinese exchange student on Tinder. She asked me to meet her at her apartment, then we'd go link up with some of her friends at the waterfront. We're texting as I'm on the way over, and she didn't realize this was a date. Nonetheless, she asks me to pick up dinner for both of us on the way over. I get to her apartment, and before I can even take my jacket off, she says, "So, do you have anything to say to me?" presumably because I'd spent 15 seconds in silence. I offer her the food she asked for. She said she wasn't hungry. I try to strike up a conversation, but she dead ends every topic I bring up. She starts texting, and making phone calls. She was speaking Mandarin, presumably, but I was able to make it the name of the place we were supposed to meet her friends. She said something about how plans might change because her friend needs help. Throughout all this, I just sat by myself, eating my sandwich in silence. When I was finished, I asked if she just wanted me to leave. She said yes, then gave me $20 for dinner. Told a girl I was into granola Environmentalist tea. She replied, "Me too." We hit it off quickly. Anyway, she kept talking up how incredible her job was and that she taught a bunch of kids about environmental issues and how amazing this job was. Basically begging me to come check it out. So we picked a day and I took the day off from work. It had been a while since we saw each other, so she decided it would be fun to send me real kinky texts about fun places we could sneak off to around her work as it was her fantasy. I was down, and I was getting in the mood myself. I drive to her work, only to find out she works at a trash-burning power plant and recycling center, and on that day we'll be giving a tour to a bunch of preschoolers. Throughout the date, basically every chance she could, she would try to get me turned on when no one was looking. There were about 20 kids and teachers right there. Meanwhile, we're walking through piles of rotten trash, or looking at machinery that could kill you in an instant if you stepped over a boundary line, or staring into a white-hot furnace to see the burning trash. The more you walked around, the dirtier you felt, which in a way was not surprising. I still had the worst blue balls in my life, which in itself was questionable. Anyway, the tour ended, she took me in her office, and well, let's just say it took 3 showers and a wave to a priest to feel clean after that. Went on a Tinder date who made it clear she had mental health issues and PTSD from past trauma. We decided to meet for bubble tea. I get a seat and wait. She walks in with a large stuffed shark. Cool. Plushies are fine. They can be a good therapeutic tool. She gets her beverage. We sit down to drink. Not even a hello was exchanged, and we dive right into how she was assaulted and raped. I was in the healthcare field. I can listen. The thing is though, she was talking very loudly. Uncomfortable levels of loudness about tough issues. I could not redirect her or change the topic. Nothing. She wasn't having any of that. So, I panicked and said, "Want to go to your car and make out?" Her eyes light up and she loosens the grip on her stuffed shark. Okay. We get back to her car. We kiss, very awkward. It was mostly teeth. And the shark was kind of between us. I mentioned how I'm kink-friendly to her previously. She hit me with a weird question in this awkward teethy kissing. Can we do some rape play? I kind of panicked again. You sure? I mean maybe. We can walk to a park. I stammered. We get out of the car. We walk towards a park. The entire time she is talking about her trauma. All that jazz. Just awkward. We get to a fairly private space. She softly says, "Maybe we shouldn't do this?" Yeah. Sounds good to me. I ended up jerking off while she watched me. I took an Uber home. I texted her that I had a good time. She ghosted me 100%. A batchmate of mine won't stop asking me out. I successfully evaded him for about 4 years. He was a good guy but couldn't understand boundaries, or so I thought. Anyway, I just thought I should get it out of the way for once and all. So I told him that we can get dinner. He wanted to pick me up from my house. I didn't wanna give him any idea, so told him that we will meet near the restaurant. We needed to park a bit further from the restaurant. While we are walking towards the restaurant, we passed a bridal store. There were bunch of bridal gowns in the window. He looked at the gowns, and told me that I would look so beautiful in the gown on our wedding day. We reached the restaurant. It was very awkward. He started asking me how many kids I wanted and where would I prefer to live after marriage and stuff. Mind you, this was the first time we met in person after 4 years. While this awkward conversation was going on, he got a call from his dad, asking how his date was going. We both are 25. Then after some time, his sister called and asked the same thing. He wouldn't even go away from the table to talk to them. Apparently, he thought that the date was going great. I had made it clear that it wasn't a date and that I would pay for myself. So when the server brought the receipt, he wouldn't take out his wallet. I pay for both. After the server went, he told me that he would give me a check for the amount he owed me. I said not to worry about it. I thought, this is it. I can go back home now. But no, he had to walk me all the way towards my car. There, he tried to hug me and plant a kiss which I had to get away from. Just as I reach home, I get a text from him. It's a picture that I posted on my Instagram 2 years ago. The text along with it said, "This is the best picture you have till date. I knew I liked you way before, whatever that meant." I couldn't even come up with a reply for that. I met a girl online. I could tell she was overweight from her pictures, but that's not necessarily a deal-breaker. I was super lonely at the time, and she asked me to dinner and ice cream, so I was excited. I get to her house and she comes out to meet me on a mobility scooter. Her pictures must have been from several years prior, because she had got to the point where she was so big, she couldn't walk. She takes a look at my car and gets mad that it doesn't have a wheelchair lift, so how am I supposed to take her out? I should have just left, but I felt bad and asked if she just wanted to watch a movie at her place and order food. She lived with her parents, who chain-smoked and argued in the same room we were trying to watch the movie the entire time. She also tried to shove my hand down her pants in full view of them. We ordered an extra large pizza and 2 liters of Coke. When it arrived, she looked confused and said, "Didn't you get anything for yourself?" She proceeded to down all of it on her own and followed it up with a tub of ice cream. After the date was over, she kept texting me every couple days asking if I would bring her food. I eventually just blocked her number.